Hey guys, this is Impact Hall of Famer Gail Kim, and you are watching the Countdown City WrestleCast.
What's up, heels and baby faces? It's another episode of the Countdown City WrestleCast. I'm your host, JC. I'm joined this week by Tommy.
Yo.
And Mike.
I'm Mike, and this is 2020.
A.K.A. Together we are Mega Powers 99.
Ooh, yeah.
Retro Night Champions. What's up?
Yeah. Sorry I couldn't be here. I ended up, again, taking people places.
No, it's all good.
That whole Mary thing just changes your life. Who would have thought?
And, add on top of that a stepchild that comes with it.
Yeah.
I don't know why you're so busy all the time.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
It's like I'm not even trying.
Yeah. Retro Night was fun. I think it was Mike's first experience with it, and what a blast, huh? Yeah, especially he's 1 for 1 on Retro Nights. I had finally won one. So.
I'm going to get over here for another day.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have one eventually.
Yeah.
Twitter account, of course, CCG_WrestleCast. Subscribe to our channel. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Today, we are recapping WWE Elimination Chamber. It was a pretty good show overall.
Overall, yeah. I equated to a... Are we going to jump right into it, or can we...
We can jump right into it.
I don't want to just like... If you had something else for the agenda real quick. Okay, but to me, it was like a really good movie that had a really lousy ending, and not because the other parts of the movie didn't work. It was like if you're like following multiple story threads, and one story thread for one character just went literally nowhere, and you're like, why was this even in the movie? Everything else was fine.
So Game of Thrones season 8.
Yeah.
Oh.
For the most part, yeah.
Good way to put it.
Yeah,
it was actually a really good show. Likes and dislikes. Likes everything up until the main event. Dislikes the main event.
And
Yes.
And,
all right, it was a great show, guys.
Yeah, there you go.
So can we really delve into why the main event was not good?
Okay, let's maybe we should get into the
Let's move into it. Yeah, before we bring the whole crowd down. So when we recorded last week, of course, we only had 4 matches announced, and then of course Mike called it. Throw a couple of people of Hispanic descent going after the U.S. title, and there you go.
I mean, I know she hasn't been on the show in a while, but Tina also claims the same thing all the time.
Yeah.
And we both know that, just like they've got to have the Mexicans wrestle the Mexicans. And I was joking. I was like, oh, look, there's going to be a U.S. title match. And
do you know
literally like the next morning after we recorded, there it was.
Yeah. Do you know, like, there are actually some companies where that would actually make a lot of sense. WWE is not one of them. No. They have like 8,000 people on their roster.
Well, also, it's the same result every time. It's Andrade going over. I mean, at this point, why believe in Carrillo? Like,
why give him a shot at this point?
I like the dude, but...
And just get someone else. Those non-Hispanic descent. I mean... And real quick, and this happened on Raw, but still, why is Riddick Moss beating all the black guys all of a sudden? Just what's going on there? Ricochet, then Cedric Alexander, what's happening?
Vince was like, we have a football player in NXT. Oh, let me see. Oh, look at that 6'4" with muscles. Oh yeah, I'll bring him up here. That's pretty much what that was.
Actually, I'm scared how accurate that statement probably is. Actually,
what if he's been down there for 5 years? What? Oh my God, give him up here now.
Yeah, it's possible.
I will say the match with Drew and Daniel Bryan, I liked.
It opened the show.
It opened the show. I like the technical aspect of it.
And
it felt like a match was just thrown together too.
And I literally said, like, Daniel Bryan's trying to kill himself to make Gulak a star on the brand. I mean, like, Gulak's good, but Daniel Bryan, what they were letting him do and what he was giving him, I was like, geez,
some dangerous bumps. Yeah.
Do you think that Daniel Bryan was just doing that to give him the same kind of shot that Daniel Bryan once had years ago?
I do. The way the match was going.
I totally agree. I was just wondering because I was thinking
really
that.
Do.
Like,
yeah.
Like,
I think it was like, look, these guys are talented, and I think he believes in Gulak, and Jesus. Man.
Well, yeah. Like you said, Gulak's always been good. He's just a really, really good guy, and to see, I guess I love when the higher level guys will do that for the not quite top tier guys. Yeah, right. I like that. I like that kind of thing. The men's tag team Elimination Chamber match I thought was really good.
That was good too. Yeah.
I loved Otis crashing through the cell entirely.
The back, yeah.
Absolutely fly completely out of the
definitely match of the night in my book.
I agree. Yeah,
I forget who it was, but one of the
I
was thinking about it, but probably.
Yeah, the Lucha House Party did basically a shooting star hanging off the top of the chamber.
Freaking insane!
Pulling a homicide from the
pretty much.
But I think the chamber's a little bit taller, so
a little bit.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I thought that was really, really cool.
And I wonder because if you notice, so he was on top of one of the what do you call it, where they keep the people, the little cage, whatever.
The chamber.
Yeah, the chamber. Right.
Yeah. And Heavy Machinery kept looking up at him, and I was waiting for him to jump, and then it's like they're like, oh, and then they kind of turned around like they were going to leave him alone.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? And then they finally show him like up at the top.
Yeah.
They did a good job with the camera work of hiding what he was doing, and all of a sudden he's up there.
All of a sudden,
you
notice.
Whoa.
You know, you're like, when did Spider-Man get in this match?
Yeah.
I do laugh at the fact that they started with Usos and New Day. I'm remembering that, right? Yeah, but I'm laughing. I was like, what? It's like, what more can these two teams possibly do to each other? They have not over the years. It's like they're like for a solid maybe 3 months. They're the only reason I wanted to watch any WWE pay-per-view because like they were on it. I was like, I couldn't care less about any other matches.
They talked about that last week when the Usos were on. On their New Day podcast.
Other thing I liked, and none of us really did see it coming, Sami Zayn winning the Intercontinental title by picking up the win.
I'm sorry.
You said it was either going to be Nakamura or Cesaro.
But I called that side was
Yes, you saw. So technically that counts that you win, but you thought it would be Nakamura or Cesaro.
Yeah.
But Sami, like, wow. Can you believe it had been 1,853 days, I think?
On the main roster.
On the main roster that he hadn't had a title.
Basically,
since he dropped the NXT channel before winning one.
I can't believe it, but I forgot who. Then again, I remember who's in charge. Like, yeah, I can believe that. My thing with that is, I would have liked it better if Cesaro and Nakamura would have looked more pissed about it. That's my only thing.
Well, I know what you're saying, but you have time to do that. And I think that might be the twist on them. Like I said, I thought the whole point of Braun losing was to set up a multi-man thing.
Yeah.
So I know we don't really have a general manager or whatever, but I see the match going that way, and I see Cesaro and Nakamura being like, well, we're going to get a shot at the title.
Yeah.
I think that's like a Mania triple threat or something like that, maybe.
Or, and like I said, we'll see what happens this Friday with Braun. If he goes a rematch to try and get it back, or he gets put into some other kind of more high profile thing for Mania, because I feel like he always kind of gets put in the things that are kind of attractions more than real matches.
They look at him as gimmicks,
It seems like it seems like they're almost winging this WrestleMania more than they did last year. And I thought last year they were winging it.
Yeah,
they are. They're like bringing as many big names as we can because we don't believe in making stars anymore, and we'll just Yeah.
So the show's going great. We're having great match after great match. It's been a great pay-per-view. The tag team chamber, we said, was awesome.
Yeah.
Then we get to the main event.
Before we get what else happened on the card? I'm trying to remember because I think there's
the Raw tag match, the Street Profits versus
Okay, I wanted to talk about that only because only because Kevin Owens was hilarious.
Yeah. Yes, he was with the
popcorn. Dude, the I don't know why the popcorn thing made me laugh so hard, but I was watching because I didn't watch it live. I was at my parents' house, but I watched it later. And the popcorn, this whole thing, I was dying laughing. I don't know why that was so funny.
Well, the best part was he was like just pointing like,
yes,
it was that guy.
He's like, he's coming, and then what's his name? Wiped out Rollins, man.
Dawkins.
Yeah,
he did, bro.
That's the linebacker taking him out, man.
Yeah, I love Street Profits. I'm glad that they're getting the shot.
Yeah, so that was a good match too. I mean,
they get the crowd going too. I love their entrance. So man, they get it crazy.
It's things like that I don't get why are capitalized on more. Just
And
I don't know.
They haven't had a legit AOP versus War Viking experience,
Raiders,
Viking Raider experience,
whatever they're called now. They haven't had a legit just tag match against each other, right?
I don't think they've had one.
It's always just
not yet, but they kind of seem to start setting that up. Yeah,
I mean, you should at this point. I mean, they keep Viking Raiders seem to be the group that comes out to neutralize AOP whenever they're doing that.
I'm hoping they're doing it, this is a long shot. Doing it smart and saving it for WrestleMania.
That'd be nice.
That would be.
I mean, that's a long shot of a smart move to make. I mean, because it's brilliant, but
And then one other thing before we get to, because we also left off the Aleister Black AJ match, which got the Undertaker involved.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where is Black and all? I mean, not to get off too far to Raw real quick, but they set him up against Rollins, which I thought was kind of cool. But then he kind of ducked out when they set up the 8-man. So he's I kind of feel like he's like in the middle with nowhere to go a month out of WrestleMania.
I feel like they like what he does, but I feel like they have nothing for him. They don't know where to put his gimmick. And I mean, first off, it's great he got a win over AJ.
Yeah.
I was worried about him losing to AJ,
Right.
that kind of get buried, but the Undertaker debuting, which was really good.
And I was thinking maybe with Black's kind of persona that maybe he would have gotten some sort of thing from like where the Taker kind of respects him or similar gimmick thing, but not really.
This is again my problem with just WWE booking entirely. Because if you're gonna do push Black all this way, for one, you can just have him relive his feud with Andrade for the U.S. title they have for the NXT belt, because that match was great. Yeah. And B, if your world champion was actually there from week to week, like a world champion's supposed to be.
But he can't go for the U.S. title unless they call him Aleister Negro.
It could happen.
I mean, at least Alistair Vega.
But the thing is, but the thing is, the booking is so bad. The booking is so bad that could happen. You're not entirely off.
Yeah,
the booking is so bad. I actually could see that happening, like literally this coming Raw. Alistair Negro. It was like
with a mask.
With a mask.
Yep.
All right, guys, let's get on to our favorite match of the night.
Oh, my God. Again, we had, great match after great match.
It was actually a solid
It was a solid show.
And I was like, oh, my God, this is really good. And then this could actually be one of their best chamber pay-per-views.
The main event's going pretty good, and then Shayna enters the match, and you just kind of destroyed everything you had going.
That was amazingly accurate.
Yeah, it was... Okay, I know you're trying to make Shayna look strong.
Make her look strong.
And I have no problem with her, knocking people out, making them tap out.
Yeah.
But what I had an issue with was that you didn't have Asuka put up such a big fight.
Yeah.
Former women's champion, current tag team champion, who you kind of hyped this up, and she was like the one person that could take Shayna down.
Yeah.
And you didn't give him a good 10, 15 minutes. You barely gave him any time together. It felt really short.
I'm sorry. I hate to put on my New Japan hat because I'm spoiled. I refuse to believe you can't have a contender/champion look strong and do the same for everybody else going in. You can't convince me that you couldn't make anyone else in that match come out looking like $1 million and still have Shayna look like $1 billion.
Yeah.
Yes. Honestly, yes, she could have destroyed the whole roster. You can at least have everyone, as Asuka especially, should have been the main one putting up a fight. And everyone kept mentioning the fact that Asuka was technically injured and everything. Yeah, okay, maybe, but they could have used that to her advantage. Put a brace on her or something, and say that's her weak point, and have her go for that. Because then that would make sense. That would be a good story to make sense. Yeah. Having her destroy people like it's another episode of Raw is the main problem. This is a pay-per-view. This is the Elimination Chamber. And even the most destructive of chamber performances at least were entertaining going in.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just it's not a problem. Again, it sounds like I'm talking about Lesnar. It's not a problem with Shayna herself or her wrestling ability. It's a problem with the booking around her. I really do think damn it, Vince just copy and pasted Brock Lesnar onto Shayna.
Well, we know it was Vince. I heard Heyman might have been the one to book this.
I don't.
Well,
who knows? But
the
that's
way
one
it kind
report.
of plays out, from what I understand, is that Vince wasn't sold on Shayna after the Raw match with Kairi Sane.
Okay.
So I almost feel like Heyman was like, all right, give me one chance to make this up, and his best option, or he thought his best option, I guess, was just to make her destroy people, so she looked strong again and looked like a solid contender. That's kind of from what the different dirt sheets and things have been reporting. Those are the two things that were coming out, that at first that maybe the chamber was in doubt because Vince was not convinced Shayna had the star power. and then this happened, and people were saying it was Heyman who was behind Shayna. So.
Yeah, but based on who you had in the chamber, there really wasn't anybody else you could have win that match.
And that's the key thing for me.
Yeah.
It's like you already pretty much declared to the world. It's like the Reigns and Goldberg thing almost. When Shayna debuted, it was pretty obvious it was gonna be her and Becky.
Yeah, that was.
Why was there
all the way back to Survivor Series?
Why was that even a thing that happened? The chamber, why were they even there? And then I shared this like I think twice. It's like on Twitter that the other possible match they were going to have was a Elimination Chamber match for the SmackDown Women's title.
Right.
And I was like, why didn't we have that match? Why didn't we just get that instead? I mean, okay. I do have some problems with like obvious contenders showing up and everything like that when it doesn't make sense. The vampire neck biting thing didn't make any sense. However, if Shayna had just showed up and said, "Remember how I kind of wiped your entire team at Survivor Series, and yeah, I kind of want that now," that would have made sense.
Right.
I don't know why the Twilight thing had to happen.
And then
we're still trying to figure that out.
Speaking of the chamber, does anybody remember a couple weeks ago when Sheamus cut a promo talking about being in the chamber, and then so apparently there was going to be a men's one too, and they were just
look,
Roman, go ahead.
Look. Barry Allin ran back in time. He changed the timeline. That never happened.
Actually, they did have that chamber match down in Rio de Janeiro.
If he says Rio de Janeiro again, I get to tell my Shimmer DVD story one more time. I don't care what any of you say.
Touche, sir. Touche.
I'm kidding.
He got you there, dude.
Yeah, I did. That was good. Checkmate. Flip the checkmate.
Yeah. All right. As far as our pick results from the show, Tommy and I went 2-2. Tina went 3-1, and Mike went 4-0.
I think this is one of the few ones where I'm like not even remotely mad that I didn't. Just
we only had 4 matches when we picked last time. So
look, I'm just like, hey, good for you, Mike. I was like,
and I thought I might have not been doing well because I wasn't sure if Miz and Morrison were going to retain, given who
that was
there.
really
the only match that was kind of up in the air.
And I thought I was kind of going out on a limb choosing Braun to lose the title, basically.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't pick the specific person, but
yeah.
I thought for Braun it was too soon to lose it. I thought for the Miz and Morrison it was like a shoo-in they were going to lose it, and I was wrong. Whatever.
Who to go with? Yeah. So.
Yeah.
All right, now we're going to get on to our WrestleCast ratings. 0 to 5, 5 being WrestleMania 17, 0 being December to Dismember. Tina, the show, she said, was a 4.75 up until the main event. And unfortunately, with that being the main event, that kind of killed the momentum. So she gave the show overall a 4.2. That was her rating for the show. That was the main thing. And I think a lot of that sentiment is there. It was a solid show.
I agree.
Tommy, what about you?
3.5.
3.5. Man, you went even lower.
I was gonna go lower than that, but honestly, the more I think about it, the rest of the show should not suffer for one match, and it really wasn't the fault of the participants in the match. It was just how it was booked. But it did kind of kill my enjoyment of it. So 3.5, and you know, all due respect, everyone did their best. What can you do?
Yeah. I'm on the same boat as Tina. This was a solid 4.75, which for a WWE pay-per-view nowadays,
it really was so close.
It was on its way to be possibly better than Royal Rumble.
It was.
And then that.
I think if they had actually had the SmackDown Women's match instead, it would have gotten a much higher rating for me. I probably would have given like a 4.75 or something like that.
So mine ended up with a 4.25 based on all that. So,
okay.
Yeah. Mike, what about you?
yeah, I mean, so I was in a similar boat. I was going to say about a solid 4.5, 4.6 before. After the main event, I'm going to have to give it a 4.0.
Okay.
Again, and pretty much what Tommy said. The rest of the show was great, and it sucks that it kind of ended like this, and I think it kind of brought him down a bit.
Yeah.
And, you know, not just Shayna destroying everyone, but having to wait the stupid time limit for First Liv, then for Asuka, that really brought down. You know, talk about copying Brock. It was like when he would eliminate people at the Rumble and just sit there, and it didn't do anything. Like I was sitting there going, "Just get this over with." Like unlock both of them now.
Yeah. I would rather Shayna had come in last and then destroy everything.
See, that's what I thought, and that might have made more sense.
I think that would have made more sense because A, everyone's already been in there for a few minutes. B, you know, she's coming in fresh. And C, then you can just make her look like a monster and just destroy people one by one. And even they start to gang up on her.
Yeah, I was going to say, you could have him, you know, jump on her for a bit.
And then she can fight her way out of it.
Either that or like have them turn on each other thinking they got her down.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
ways you could have done it.
That's the thing is like when you want to build up people who like want to be legit threats. There's a way to do it. Okay, so I don't think I sent you guys a video of Cultaholic talked about the greatest IWGP heavyweight champions from worst to best. Number one was Okada, by the way. Yeah, should have been. Anyway, they were talking about how Inokiism was a thing of how Antonio Inoki loved MMA style fighters and he bring them to wrestling. And he made them, and of course, he made them look strong. But he did it in a way, for better or for worse, actually was believable. Yeah, he pushed them to the moon, and some of them, for better or worse, again, may not have been ready, but it's still they came out looking strong, and a lot of the guys they faced looked even better. Like Shinya Hashimoto when he won the belt from I can't remember his name. When he won it, it was like he was a mega star. And you could have a fighter, strong person from another sport come in and do that, and you can make them look strong, but like everyone else look like they're competent. So
yeah,
and I'm not saying, and again, I just hate people because I know what people could say. I don't even say like no one in the match aren't competent, because they are. It's just that how the booking goes around it. It's just you can tell they can do much better than this,
Right.
And we know that at Asuka especially, we know it because we saw it in NXT.
Yeah.
By
the
the way,
fun brand.
Next night on Raw, she's cutting a promo with Kairi Sane. It's mostly in Japanese, and it's still going great. It's still going over.
Yeah.
Who says you got to speak English to cut a great promo? Right?
I don't.
They're just parts of it where I'm like, I think I get what you're saying, but I honestly don't know what you're saying. And I mean, I don't know. I see what you're saying, and the Philly crowd, or were they in Philly?
They were in Philly for a chamber. I forget where
they
they
might
were
have still
for
been.
Raw.
They might have been in that
close
area.
I just felt like the Monday night one went really long.
Yeah.
And so, like, she gets real expressive, and she gets, her English words on a few things. But sometimes I was like, okay, y'all are still going. And then she was making weird, like, and like, I don't know, like weird laughs and stuff. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But that was just me. So.
Overall rating for the show, 3.9875.
Yeah.
Just under 4. That main event just kind of killed it. So.
Yeah.
So, what is this setup for WrestleMania? Let's kind of talk through that. Obviously, we know of 5 matches. John Cena versus The Fiend.
Okay.
I don't know.
Did we actually talk about last week the fact that Cena came out and basically did a goodbye speech and how people who go to WrestleMania need to earn their match? Did we talk about this? And then
no, we didn't.
He comes out and points. He's like, "All right, we're gonna have a match." Like, listen to what he said before.
Yeah, you're right.
He was like, "People need to earn their way to WrestleMania," and all these people. He's like, "And I'm not gonna." I might be back for one more or something. And then the Fiend's like, and he's like, all right, real fight.
All right, sure. Let's
go. All right, sure. Why not?
Ignore what I just said.
I would prefer it more if they had done more of like him bringing up the whole thing from years ago when they face each other and not like trying to have a rematch.
But how would the Fiend bring that? It would have to be Bray on the Firefly Funhouse.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm sure
whatever,
But I know what you mean. No, I agree. But
yeah, I'm so meh right now with the booking of this WrestleMania.
Yeah. The title matches we know of: NXT Women's Rhea Ripley defending against Charlotte Flair.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah,
Becky Lynch against Shayna Baszler for Raw Women's title.
I hope they get better than what they're setting it up for.
Okay, Universal Goldberg versus Roman Reigns.
No, I'm sorry.
Look, I know Roman. It's obvious Roman's going to go over, but I don't feel like you need him to go over Goldberg in this situation. I felt like you could have kept it on.
I don't feel you need Goldberg in this situation.
Not at all. Exactly.
I have no problem with Goldberg. It's the championship.
Right.
Yeah.
Because so here's the thing. I know what I haven't heard this, but I know what everyone's immediate argument would be against that kind of book. Well, actually, maybe I have read it by just what happenstance. It's like, what is the difference between someone like Goldberg winning it and someone like Jericho winning the world title in AEW?
Jericho's on TV every week.
Yeah, there's that, but also the fact it's like as far as go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's just as far as the fact like. There's continuity because Jericho technically has never really stopped wrestling. So and for another, it's like for Jericho, he hasn't ever really done it as like a farewell thing. And I have nothing against Goldberg, and against Lesnar and how he gets his check.
But why is he the one that's giving the Fiend his first loss?
Yeah.
You're basically saying there's nobody in the roster that can do this.
And on the Jericho comparison, if WWE was starting brand new. And you pulled up Goldberg, I would totally be behind that.
Yeah.
Because there's legitimacy behind your first champion, which is what Jericho was doing.
Yeah.
He was giving the AEW title legitimacy as a legit GOAT holding the belt to start with. And if you were starting a new promotion or WWE was doing something starting new and they put it on Goldberg, knowing that there's young guys they are priming like Moxley or, Kenny Omega or Pac or these other guys or Hangman to eventually come down the road, I would have no problem with Goldberg. But WWE is, 70 years into their run. They're not establishing anything. They're just trying to get that big payday, and I agree. And I think we all agree the biggest thing with this is why did you sacrifice The Fiend for this?
Yeah.
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 It sucks.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Lesnar versus McIntyre, which so far has been...
Don't ruin it. Just
please
keep
don't.
It simple.
Having McIntyre show that he can take down Lesnar has been good to see on the promos.
Yes.
Yeah.
But this is why I'm also afraid they've shown Brock vulnerability, and they don't always do.
Yeah,
this.
I'm optimistic. There's a word I don't use a lot whenever I say WrestleMania and Brock Lesnar in the same sentence. But I'm also nervous as all hell. I mean, 2 Claymores and let's just go home with this. Let's just pack it up and call it a day.
Some rumored matches, a couple that are pretty set in stone. AJ Styles versus The Undertaker.
I'm actually for that.
Obvious, yeah.
I do want to add one thing just because I've heard the way he was bringing it so personal with on Monday with his wife. And of the chance of him kind of just coming back as like biker taker, basically not full dead man Undertaker.
Yeah.
Kind of like Mick Foley coming out as Mick Foley at that one.
Oh, yeah.
Or Cactus Jack and everything like that.
Yeah.
Talking about the Taker retired, but you're going to face Mark Calloway. Yeah. Be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah. I'm one of the few people, and like I know of literally one other person who I can say this about, who actually likes both versions of Undertaker, the traditional dead man
American Badass
and American Badass. Like I literally like, for most of my life only knew one other person who liked it. So because like I would always have like that argument with people, and I was like, I don't know, I just liked it.
I thought it was fun.
Yeah,
the one I hated the most was the really dark Ministry Undertaker. That's what I always hated.
Fair enough.
That was
He's like sacrificing people.
Yeah,
that was weird.
The only reason I did like that one is because when he kidnapped Stephanie McMahon and Stone Cold came out and like just kicked the ass of the entire Ministry, I thought that was fun. So
I remember something JR along the lines of like, oh, he doesn't like her, he's just doing it because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah,
like, he's the anti-hero, but he still has to be the hero.
Yeah.
Edge versus Orton.
That has good build.
This into my veins.
That has good build. That's like the one. I was like, look.
Although the attack on MVP seemed a bit random to me, but
I guess they had to get something for Edge to do without actually getting to Orton.
Yeah, but it's like MVP's coming back just so his kids can kind of see him work a bit, and it's like, you're just gonna get your ass kicked.
That's all he's been doing.
I don't know.
I think he's okay with that though, actually. Yeah. But I like that because like the more the Orton and Edge thing is happening, I'm like, oh my God, is this good booking?
Yeah.
What? When did this happen? Who's booking this?
And I have a feeling, and maybe to help Edge out a bit too, it's going to be some sort of like street fight or TLC match or something.
It's got to be something crazy because they both done it at Mania. It would be nuts.
I just think it's cool to see Radio.
Some other rumored ones, like there was like an early release. This could be possible. Otis versus Ziggler with Mandy Rose as the referee.
I hope so. I actually hope
would
so.
Be fun.
I actually, for all the silly matches that we get, this is the one silly match I legitimately do want.
Yeah,
I want to see that happen just for Zack Ryder to warn Otis to beware and call back his team. What was it?
Team Raw and Team SmackDown.
Yeah,
Eve Torres.
Eve Torres. Yeah, turned on him and
yeah.
I just want to see Mandy Rose in the referee shirt.
I'm sure. Wait, I do too.
Not a bad sight at all.
No,
I think it'll work just fine.
And then, of course, I feel like this is what they're kind of getting to. Basically, a triple threat between the former Riot Squad, Ruby Riott, Sarah Logan, and Liv Morgan.
That'd be cool.
If we get that as an I'm sorry to all three of them for how they made them during the chamber match, I'm okay with
it.
That was
probably on the pre-show, but I'm okay with it.
I don't care. I'm actually down with that because that'd be cool.
Probably around like noon or 1:30 in the afternoon in the pre-show.
Yeah.
Man, the pre-show's going that late. Jeez, I thought it was going to start like around 10.
No, that's when the match will happen.
Pre-show they're going to talk for like 2 hours. So we'll see. We're a few weeks away from Mania when we do our show previewing it.
And then I guess we can also kind of talk about the rumors we were talking with Tina earlier about the SmackDown Women's title.
Yeah, that's
the possibilities.
That's the thing that's noticeably absent is that we haven't had any news on Bayley possibly even wrestling at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Which sucks because she's, as she said, the longest reigning SmackDown Women's Champion.
And she's getting this great gimmick now.
But
yeah.
nothing really.
I think they've said Nia Jax is set to return this Friday. That's been rumored. Paige as well. I don't see Paige being cleared.
Well, Paige is showing up to confront her.
Okay.
About something. And some people are starting to get with Edge coming back that maybe she did too. But I don't think Paige has gone through the process that Edge has.
Yeah, I don't think she's quite clear.
Edge has set this because I don't know if y'all remember, if y'all ever listened to the ENC pod of awesomeness. They shut down maybe back in like September or something. They stopped doing it. And they never really talked about specifically why, but you realize now.
Yeah.
Edge was going through the process to get back.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Paige has done that, but there's rumors, like Tina was saying, that maybe she brings out Nia Jax. I've also read rumors of a 6-pack challenge for the title with with Bayley, Sasha, Lacey, Carmella, Naomi, and then maybe Nia thrown there, just something along those lines.
Just Bayley and 5 random women from SmackDown.
Yeah. I also heard one rumor about the women's tag titles where Asuka and Kairi could defend against Beth Phoenix and Natalya and Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. That was like another rumor.
That could be good. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, that was a rumor I heard. I'm not.
I'd be cool with that.
Because originally, the first rumor I heard about that was just Kairi and Asuka versus Natalya and Beth was the first one I heard. And then when I heard recently was that they were at it.
Well, they did throw that kind of thing out last week on the Moment of Bliss with NWO before they started.
Yeah.
But hey, if y'all would ever come to SmackDown with those titles.
Yeah, I started to get a Let's Cross Applesauce shirt earlier.
Yes, you do.
Again.
Yeah.
I'm cool.
I'm
not saying I'm a huge fan.
I got to, dude. I'm just admitting it.
Yeah, all right. That's good.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
By the way, I showed my sister the video, and she like loved it. She's like that's so cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. We'll see where the rest of this road goes. Please, of all things, don't screw this up. You have a pretty decent build up to the 5 matches you have booked so far.
Let Drew in, for the love of God. Sorry.
Just let it play out naturally.
Let's be more realistic. Screw up as little of this as possible, please.
Yes.
Okay.
No stupid writing issues.
It's so sad that that's an actual statement you had to make.
Well, it's sad because I worry there's like, 3-4 weeks to WrestleMania. That's 3-4 weeks for them to screw something up in the build up here, So I think
maybe they should shut down for 3 weeks before.
Right?
Dude, yeah. Like, what? The actually good wrestling company has to stop and this gets going?
See, boys, that's called a segue.
It's going to segue, of course. We're talking about recent news out of Japan, New Japan Pro Wrestling. So the New Japan Cup, they've announced, has been, I don't know if you want to say canceled, postponed.
Yeah, I don't know if it's. I know for sure it's postponed. Like this because like they're supposed to come back after this week. They're supposed to come back, but now
I'm gonna make you do some editing.
Surprise, motherfucker!
Damn it!
That's what the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Well, no, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
No, so they postponed all their shows.
Yeah.
Next week too. Damn it.
Sorry. Hey,
no,
come on. Trying to liven it up because I know you're pissed off about
I
this.
am. So I mean, but the thing is though with this is like they may be able to do something to like kind of like maybe if not they have a shorter field, like a smaller field.
Yeah.
And kind of replace some of that.
They've already had like a couple of rounds through, right? I mean,
actually, it was going to start on the 1st.
It was on the 4th, I thought.
With the 4th, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But they were already in their time frame of pausing.
So they haven't had anything done yet. Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Is it 32 or?
It was 32.
It's 32.
So because like last week and this week they were going to stop the shows and that because they're doing the new NJPW Together project. They're filming stuff for New Japan World specifically because they know there's no show. So they even had a press conference with Naito and Hiromu Takahashi, where by the way, Takahashi like went off on the coronavirus, like yelling at the coronavirus like it was a person.
Cutting a promo on it.
Yeah, because Takahashi has no sense whatsoever, and I actually love him for it. So they're doing that. So they're probably just going to do another week of that. I haven't you said, I haven't heard that they actually outright canceled the New Japan Cup. Yeah. I think if anything, they're just going to move it to maybe April. And
okay.
Just kind of maybe they may even have one like where they probably do like some matches the same day. Like like they'll probably have like maybe 2 or 3 matches. Like like you won this one round, go back to the back and rest for like 2 hours, and at the end of the show you got to face your opponent.
I still stand by my pick that Kenta wins the whole thing. So.
Okay.
Yep.
We'll see. If they announce to do brackets, we have to pick a new field.
God dang. And Mike's just gonna copy whatever you do again, basically. So.
Yeah.
I love how he was about to excuse me, but if they go to Rio de Janeiro.
Wait,
that doesn't count. Doesn't count. I didn't.
No. Does that mean I have to tell the DVD story?
Damn it.
All right, we'll move from there into our 1 minute warning. Tommy, I know you just kind of went on a rant about the New Japan. Is there anything else you want to discuss?
There actually is one because I meant to bring it up last week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's actually coming from
New Japan related.
Actually, no, it's AEW related.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, ready, set, go.
So last week on AEW Dynamite, or was it week? Anyway, Darby Allin looked like a freaking superhero in his match against Jericho and Sammy Guevara. And the reason I'm bringing it up,
right?
I'm bringing it up is because it was last week. Is because it's like just the booking around him was fantastic. He didn't win the match, which logically made sense, but just how he came out looking is like what I was talking. This is why the chamber frustrated me so much. It was like he lost the match, but came out looking like $1 million. You probably built like a Darby Allin army off that match, and the heels looked like they were supposed to. He came out looking like a superhero who just happened to have the odds stacked against him, and even in his loss, he got over with the whole crowd. He won. Like any people who don't like Darby Allin now just don't like him for whatever their own reason. They can't say they don't like him because he doesn't have tenacity. There's just no way. Yeah. So I just really like that booking. I thought that was great, and I just can't wait to see more from them.
Yeah, and I said it around Revolution. He's going to be the next big star. He just needs to win some damn matches because wins and losses do matter. And
I think with that first victory over Sammy and like losing this tag team match was just going to happen when they took out Moxley. That was a foregone conclusion. I think if they continue this feud with him and the Inner Circle, he's going to start racking up wins over each of them.
As long as he's getting singles wins, that's the
important he's going to start getting because I really foresee him taking on each one. Like maybe beating Ortiz and Santana individually, getting some kind of sneak pin over Hager. The real test is if they ever put him against Jericho 1-on-1 again. Have them have a rematch.
Yeah, it could happen now. I mean, Jericho's not as invulnerable as he was before. He has a loss on his record.
I still love. He said, "I don't need a belt to be Le Champion." I was like, and the crowd chanted, "Yes, you do."
I love it.
It's so great. Jericho can make you hate him no matter what he's doing.
Mike, you ready?
Yeah, I just want to check with you real quick before I do mine, because mine's kind of along the theme of the show, of the booking, and it's connected to the main event of the chamber. Was that something you were going to go down to? Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right, go.
So yeah, like I was saying, the whole theme of the show has kind of been like the booking of the main event of the Elimination Chamber, and what I kind of want to go at this is, and I've kind of mentioned this to them. Recently, especially once Brock got here, WWE doesn't know how to book a bad guy to be strong in any other way than destroying people. And the problem is it causes some of the most boring TV. Back when he defeated Cena for the very first time and he came back, it was a hard match to watch. It was SummerSlam, and, he just beat him up. And then he went on this run for a long while where no one could touch him. And I'm sorry, that's boring. And, watching the chamber, you're sitting there going, okay, so, he tapped out the three women and there's still two in the pods and you're just waiting. And, she's going to do the same to them. My point is, and it's kind of similar to what Tommy said on the same vein, there's ways to make people look strong. And WWE has just gone to a really copy-paste, kill them, beat them up, destroy everybody, and that's it. And that's boring.
Yeah. I think one thing though, it's interesting because this has occurred to me is when they did that in the 80s with Ultimate Warrior, when he did that with jobbers, that was just kind of his thing. That was his whole gimmick of moving that fast and everything like that.
He couldn't wrestle for more than a minute.
There's that too. Yeah. I was letting that obvious point pass, but it's just with guys like. People like Shayna, people like Brock, they actually can work.
Yeah, if you give them the time to do it.
I know you don't like him, and I don't for the most part either. But you've seen when he gets people he enjoys being in the ring with, or a story like what he did for, we were talking about what he did for Drew this past Monday.
Yeah,
That's not something you're used to seeing out of him.
2002 to 2004 Brock.
Oh, well, that's a whole different story. Yeah.
But
I'm talking about Brock that's come back.
But see, the thing is though, is like even when he can have a semi decent match, like he can have with Roman Reigns, like they can have some semi decent matches. You don't care anymore because it's like it's so bogged down by everything else around it, you know. So
and that's why I was disappointed with the match at Super Showdown. Because you saw what he did with AJ Styles, what he's done with Daniel Bryan, what he's done with Seth Rollins, and you thought Ricochet at least would have something, and that's so. I mean, there's two sides of the coin with Brock. When he wants to, it can be amazing, and when they just want him to be a squash monster, it's boring. Like why would you waste money?
If anything, it's night and day between NXT and WWE. Whereas NXT is like you get a little more freedom about what you can do in a match.
Yeah.
WWE is like so hardcore about we want this. And it's very strict.
Yeah, but they're even putting Keith Lee.
You spoke Ricochet. I really hope he goes to NXT. He's pretty much at the burial at this point. So I hope he goes to NXT.
Because like even NXT, like they're making Keith Lee look like this monster. Even with Donovan Dijakovic, at least he's getting good offense.
Oh, they kill each other. Yeah. He comes out of it, but he looks strong. But they you're right. They do things to each other, and they makes it make sense. Both get moves in.
Yeah.
I got a couple things to talk about on mine. First, I highly recommend that everybody go, if you haven't already, and go to the WWE Network and watch the FCW story. It's kind of the forgotten developmental story because we all know about NXT. We remember OVW, we remember Deep South. But FCW really tells a story about how these people came from OVW Deep South, how they were working through FCW, how they trained them. And there's a lot of stock footage of some early content from some people that we see on TV today, promos and things like that. It's pretty cool. Back on the independent thing, I am very, very excited to learn, and when I saw the news, that ACW is returning to the venue on June 7th, doing a joint show with Heavy Metal Wrestling called Sunday Bloody Sunday, which was the first ACW show we went to. It was IWA Mid-South co-promoted show.
I still have that DVD.
Yeah, I have it too. It was amazing.
That was a great show.
I'm very happy to hear it. Darren, welcome back to San Antonio. We've missed you.
Yeah.
We were looking forward to that show so much and figure out a way. My wife and I are still talking about whether or not we're taking the kids, but I'm not exactly sure because it's ACW. We'll see. So we're very excited to see that. I can't wait.
Put their tennis shoes on.
Huh?
Put their tennis shoes on.
Definitely put tennis shoes on.
Yes,
yes. So
I thought the venue was closed. I didn't even know it was open again.
Well,
it's something else. I don't think.
I thought it was the Saint because the Saint took it over. But are they reopening as a venue, or is the venue moved to another location? I have no idea.
Not sure, but yeah, we'll know come June.
Yeah, we'll know. All right, our Twitter account, of course, is at @CCG_WrestleCast, and you can subscribe to our channel, Countdown City Geeks. Thank you, everybody, for watching our recap of Elimination Chamber, and we're on the road to WrestleMania.
Also, this coming Saturday, Brandon Outlaw Wrestling.
Yeah. Where is it at? Woodlawn?
Woodlawn Gym. Barrett Brown will be there. Facing Richie Garcia.
You have to live in San Antonio. Well, I mean, you can drive.
You can drive.
You can drive down here.
Depends on where you're from.
It's worth it. It's gonna be a good show.
What time does it start? What's bell time, doors, all that stuff? Do you know?
Bell time is doors open. Bell time is 7.
Okay.
Yeah. Doors open at 6.
Excuse me.
So they'll have meet and greets and everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna take next week off unless I'm able to land an interview. So everyone kind of rest, do your own little spring break here. And in my case, if I can't land an interview, it's because the kids got T-ball. I got a lot of games during the week. But in 2 weeks,
hopefully I can get my channel started up again.
Yeah, in 2 weeks, we've been talking about it for a while. What we wanted, and I said it towards the end of last year, beginning of this year, what I wanted Impact to bring back.
And we completely agreed.
They are finally bringing it back. Makes me know, hey, Impact, thank you for watching the show. Impact Lockdown is coming back finally. They're doing a show on Impact Plus March 28th. We'll be back in 2 weeks to preview that show. They haven't announced any matches yet, but it's taking place in Ontario, Canada.
And actually, since we're going to miss next week, speaking of cage matches, we can also review Blood and Guts, which is the AEW version of War Games.
That's true.
That's true. Yep.
That's next week?
So apparently tomorrow night they're going to explain the rules, which everyone's assuming is basically the old version of War Games with the top on the cage, and then it's the week, so it's next weekend.
Yeah, so
they're going to have it on Dynamite then. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, cool. I wonder if it's going to take up the whole 2 hours.
2 weeks? Maybe it's the 20th. What's next Wednesday?
I can't remember. Actually,
next Wednesday is the 18th.
So maybe it's the 25th.
Okay, so the following week.
Maybe
so
it's 2 weeks.
Talking about it before.
We'll be able to preview it. Yeah.
Yep. That is interesting. Man, everyone is saying they're copying War Games. You know what? Cody's dad came up with all this shit, so back off.
And then,
okay.
And then, as much as we like it, the NXT War Games isn't the original version of a War Game.
Yeah.
So.
No, but it's still great.
Smaller teams.
And my thing is like the Comedy War Games. What promotion hasn't? It's like this is the most that aside from a cage match, because God knows who first came up with that at this point. Yeah. It is a cage match and a ladder match. It is the most copied match type in all of pro wrestling.
Yeah, Impact even had Lethal Lockdown.
Everyone has their version of War Games. Who cares?
It's still fun.
At this point, if you say like that, oh, they're just copying War Games. At this point, you might as well say people are copying ladder matches. You might as well just go ahead and say that.
Speaking of that, I think we said this before, but if you have the network, go back to old WCW pay-per-views with like old War Games from the early '90s and even the late '80s, with like Dusty and the Road Warriors and the Four Horsemen. Those matches were just fun as heck. And
yeah,
great.
man. Yeah, I just think like people just want to complain about something. It's like, they're obviously still the ripping. Like, yeah, because everyone has. Even Ring of Honor, their first one was called Steel Cage Warfare. Everyone knows where they got the idea from. The only thing you can't, literally the reason why everyone doesn't call it War Games because legally they can't. Yeah. No one cares about stealing the name War Games. They just like we don't want to get sued, so they have to call it everything else they can. Who cares?
Either way, it's entertaining if it's done right.
And then apparently Blood and Guts is a little shot at Vince because he said we don't do the blood and gut stuff.
That's really smart how they did that too. I love that.
So and actually, you know what? As contrived as might be, sometimes their subtle jabs like that just crack me up. I'm like, okay, that's funny.
I enjoy them.
Yeah,
that's funny. All right. Well, thank you everybody for watching. We will catch you in a couple of weeks, unless we have anything crazy we decide to do next week. We'll see.
Crazy stuff.
Over here we got Tommy.
Thanks, guys.
My tag team partner, Mike.
No fear in 2020.
And I'm JC. And as always, heels and baby faces. Remember, pro wrestling is real. People are fake. That's all.
So if you want to subscribe to the channel, click right here.
And if you want to watch more WrestleCast videos, I got 3 words for you. Click right here.